In this video, I'm revealing my top 5 data-backed reasons why I am one and done. Now, I know a lot of people might find that decision to be selfish, but I think investing in my mental health, in my marriage, and creating financial stability are the best things that I can do for my son. Reason number 1 is the sibling myth. I know for a lot of people, giving their child a sibling is a really big reason to have another. I just do not buy into that whatsoever. It's such an unfortunate myth that only children are selfish, maladjusted, or lonely. This term, only child syndrome, was actually based on a study in the 1800s and has since been completely debunked. There is an overwhelming amount of research that shows only children are just as happy, sociable, and successful as children with siblings. I'd be really happy for my child to actually choose the most important relationships in their life based on people they organically connect with, as opposed to someone that they didn't ask for. I also didn't have to look any further than my own network of family and friends. I really racked my brain to think of anybody that I knew that was best friends with their sibling as an adult. And I couldn't think of a single example. Maybe one or two people that were quite close out of the hundreds of people that I know, but a lot of them didn't even live in the same country as their siblings they were close with. So for the likelihood of a 1% chance, maybe that they would become such amazing close friends with their sibling, it just wasn't a compelling enough reason for me. We don't know what our children will end up being. We don't know their unique personalities, if they will get along with their siblings or not. We don't know if they're going to live in the same country or city or town as we live in. There's just a lot of what ifs there. So for me, this was certainly not a compelling reason to have another child. Reason number 2 is that I would rather give my current child a mentally well parent than a sibling they did not ask for. I know my own bandwidth and my own mental capacity. I really struggled with postpartum anxiety. I found the sleep deprivation took a huge toll on my mental health. And for myself, I knew that the best gift that I could give my son was actually to be mentally well myself. There was a study of identical twins in Denmark, 35,000 adults they tested. And what they showed is that while there was this initial boost in fulfillment and happiness after the first child, they actually found the mental well-being of parents declined with every subsequent child because of the significant increase in time pressure and financial strain that came with that. And although studies when it comes to happiness are going to be somewhat flawed, I read that study and in my heart, I knew that would be my scenario because I know myself and I know what it takes to have a child and what the trade-offs are. I have found the first child to be just an incredible experience. And I guess I just don't feel like I need to relive that, have that amazing feeling of becoming a parent for the first time. Like, I'm already a parent. It doesn't change by having an additional child. My third reason is because I would rather reinvest the incremental time and energy into my existing family instead of bringing in a new family member. I already feel time stretched and time poor being a parent, being a working parent, and bringing in another child would just mean that I am spread even more thinly. There are also studies that support only children have a much stronger bond with their parents than children with siblings, and that is because of the additional time that they are spending with their parents. There is actually data that supports that subsequent children decrease marital satisfaction. It actually starts right away. Marital satisfaction does go down once you have one child, and it continues to decrease with more children. So for me, I know that having another child would put strain on my marriage. My marriage is so incredibly important to me. I want to be able to invest in the time that it takes. Having focused date nights, having one-on-one time with my partner, I really value that very highly. And I also know it is an incredible gift that I can give my son as a healthy role model of what two happy parents look like. And there's also my extended family. If I had more children, it would actually limit my ability to see my extended family by quite a bit. My mother lives across the world from me. And if I had another child, the expense of having a family of 4, travel overseas, as well as the difficult early years where it's just really tricky to travel. So I've decided to reinvest that time into my current family, into the people that are already here. Reason number 4, financial freedom. What can I say? There's a lot I would do with an extra $1 million. And yes, I do think $1 million is a good figure to estimate the cost of having a child. As the former chartered accountant, I know a thing or two about cash flows. And yeah, it's pretty significant having a child. If you incorporate the opportunity cost to your career, the lost income, as well as the time value of money, the fact that more and more children are staying and living with their parents a lot longer, it's probably the most significant investment you will make in your whole life. And with that additional money, there's just so much more that I could give my current family. I don't honestly want to have a life of significant financial strain. I want to have a life where I don't have to stress too much about money. And I know that having one child would enable me to do that. With one child, I'm able to work part time for the first 3 years. That is a financial decision that I've been able to make in the early years when I know my child needs me the most. I also took a significant maternity leave so that I could spend that time with my son. If I had another child, that financial scenario would look very different. I would likely have to go back to work full time and see both children significantly less. And that's just not the way that I want to parent personally. Number 5, I'd say the downsides to having one child are quite manageable. I believe that there is not one situation that's better than the other, having one child or multiple children. It's just a matter of what's going to make the most sense for your family. And there's always going to be trade-offs. There are trade-offs to having one child, but I find them actually quite manageable. The biggest downside, in my view, is that my child doesn't have that 24/7 playmate. How I'm managing that is I put a significant amount of effort into organizing play dates with friends, into doing different community activities, sports, allowing my child to have lots and lots of opportunities to play with other children their age and across different age groups. I have found this to be incredibly enjoyable and fulfilling for myself because I've met the most incredible community of other parents, and I've made some wonderful friendships through that community as well. I think that if I had another child, in fact, I probably would put less effort into putting myself out there. So those are my top 5 reasons. I think the one big thing that I didn't include is on the fear of future regret. You always wonder, in 20 years from now, am I going to regret that decision? So that is possible, but I'm choose not to live life that way. I mean, there is a multitude of paths that I am not going to take. Life is really just a journey, and there's all these optional adventures you can take one way or the other. And by that logic, I could regret not moving to Italy and owning a vineyard. I could regret not pursuing a career in dance. There's just so many things that I could possibly regret, but I don't know what I'm going to be like in 10, 20, 30 years from now. It's impossible. I don't even know if I will be alive, quite frankly. So it's really not a great way to live life with that fear of future regret. And even if my future self does feel a sense of sadness or loss that I only had one child, I will know that past me couldn't have handled it and it wouldn't have been a good decision. So even if future me really wants it, I will at least know that at that specific time, I made the best possible decision with the information that I had, with the circumstances that I was in.